Hi, car vlog. I am at my son's middle school to pick him up to take him to his first ever full body skin check at the dermatologist. To be honest with you, I'm a bit nervous because he has three rather large, one that's larger than the end of a pencil eraser, dark moles on his back that I just recently discovered a couple weeks ago. And I'd been meaning to take him to the dermatologist, but I'd been putting it off. He's a teenage boy. I don't look at his body, you know. He had some bruising from his backpack rubbing up against his spine on his back, and so that's how I discovered that he had those moles. And then I took him to the pediatrician and they were like, hey, you know, where we live is high rate of skin cancer. I'm like, yeah, I know, I just had it. So I got on it and he has an appointment today. I'm gonna go check him out of school, and I'm definitely going to ask that my dermatologist biopsy one of them, that largest one. I mean, whether or not it's anything, hopefully it's nothing, but even if it's nothing, he's going to want that off when he's older and he cares about his back. So might as well take it off now, right? But I'll let you know what my dermatologist says. Hi. It is 2 days after the last video clip you saw. I'm sitting out enjoying my back porch. I just finished filming 2 more videos that you'll see possibly before this one. Got a new hat, and I think I finally have found the style of hat that I like. I don't think I look ugly in this hat for once. I'll put the name of the hat down below because I found it at my local hardware store, but it is UPF 50. The last clip, I was getting ready to pick up my son to take him to his dermatology appointment. So I took him to his dermatology appointment and he had a full body skin cancer check. He did have 2 spots, 2 moles removed off the back of his back and sent off to biopsy. So hopefully the next clip you'll see will be me giving you the results or telling you what's up with that. But I wanted to tell you how they treat a kid in a dermatology office because he's 14. He's taller than I am. He was so brave. I am so proud of him. I had prepped him beforehand and told him that I definitely wanted the larger mole on his back near his spine, definitely biopsy, just for peace of mind. So I had talked to him about they will ask him to get into a paper gown and get down to his boxers, and then they will numb the area first before the doctor shaves off the spot with a razor blade. Scalpel? Do they use a scalpel or a razor? I think they use a scalpel. I said you just feel a little pressure. You don't actually feel them cutting it off of you, but you do feel the needles going in to numb it. So I had prepped him a little bit beforehand. So we got to the appointment. My dermatology office is so nice. The physician's assistant nurse, I don't know. She talked to my son, you know, asked all the questions. Why are you here today? What are your concerns? And he then got into his gown, which I don't think he's ever, no, he has been in a paper gown before, but he was 6 years old. He was in the hospital for over a week, like 10 days for something completely different. But he doesn't remember that. He's so much bigger now. He's 5'8.5", 5'9". I think he's 5'9". He's taller than my husband. My husband is 5'7.5". He got into the paper gown, got down to his boxers. He asked me to stay in the room with him, which I thought was, he must have been really worried. Because normally he doesn't, you know, we don't change clothes in front, you know, in front of each other. He doesn't do that. So he must have been worried about now that I think about it, he must have been worried about the doctor's appointment. You know, I turned around and looked at him as he changed, put his gown on, and the whole time, you know, he's trying to figure out how to hold it shut and it's ripping on him. And I'm laughing because that's what I do in awkward situations is I have just awkward laughter. Does anybody else do that? And also it's funny because, you know, I do this every 3 months. I have to get those stupid paper gowns and inevitably they rip on me. Inevitably your back just hangs open and it's just super awkward. He was so brave. I say doctor, but he's not technically a doctor. He's a physician's assistant. And I call him Mr. He doesn't actually have the title doctor, but he is so nice. He came in and looked at my son's back. Also talked about my son's spine, which was interesting because we'd just been to the pediatrician to talk about my son's spine because he had bruising. My son had bruising, which is the whole reason I found the moles on his back was my son was complaining that his back was bothering him, and I lifted up the back of his shirt and he had bruising down his spine. And so we took him to the pediatrician and they think it's that because he's so skinny, his backpack was rubbing on his spine and causing bruising. So when I took him to the dermatologist said, actually pointed out that my son's back is curved. And he said it was the opposite direction of scoliosis. So it wasn't like this, like scoliosis, it was actually back. But my pediatrician didn't say anything about that, so I don't know. But he did agree that we should take off that one spot that I wanted off. And then he also took off a second spot because it had a dot in it. It had like a darker dot in it. So I'm concerned, but also I think he just has my skin. So even if it does come back as precancerous, his moles and his spots look like the majority of mine. They have the blurry edges, they have the discoloration in them, and typically they come back as nothing. My melanoma was darker than all my other spots. It was almost black. That's how I knew something was up. I'm expecting them to all come back normal. Plus my son, he doesn't really get out in the sun. He's not really an outdoors person. He likes video games, prefers long sleeves. He doesn't really like to show his arms now. And when he was younger, I did put sunscreen on him. I'm sure it was not enough. It was not enough because I wasn't putting enough on myself. So I'm sure I did not put enough on him. But I always made sure he wore a hat when he was younger. It's worrisome when it's your kids, right? It's so difficult being a parent. You know, I never realized how difficult my parents had it. I thought they had it all together, and I never understood why they made bad parenting decisions. But now that I have kids of my own, I'm like, oh my goodness, here I was judging them for making bad parenting decisions, but there's no guidebook. And every kid is different, and literally you're just winging it as a parent. You do the best you can, but you know that you're going to mess up somehow, and you're not going to do something the way it should have been, and you're going to look back and think, man, I should have done stuff differently, but I didn't. I can't even tell you the number of times that I've called my mom and apologized to her for various things that I've done as a child and things that I didn't understand as a child about her parenting that I never understood. And there's still some things that I don't understand why my parents did what they did, but I have a lot more grace as a parent now. And I look at my son and my daughter. I have a 4-year-old as well. And I'm like, I'm doing stuff wrong. I know I can't see it right now. I know I'm doing something wrong with parenting. Don't know what it is. I'll look back on it. When they're older, I hope that I'm the type of person, and I want to be the type of person that will, when they come to me and say, Mom, I don't understand why you did it this way. This hurt my childhood, or I didn't like this and I didn't understand that. I want to be the type of person that just looks at them and says, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I screwed up. I definitely should have done that differently. And there was no guidebook, and I'm sorry that I didn't know what I was doing. I accept full responsibility for whatever it is that I've screwed up in your life. Putting this on video, holding myself accountable. So in 10 years, 10, 20 years from now, when they come to me and they don't understand what's happening, I just want to be the parent that apologizes, because I'm not perfect, but I can accept responsibility for not putting enough sunscreen on them. The next clip you'll see, I will let you know the results of his biopsy. Hi, I'm all bundled up. It's probably, I don't know, 4 to 5 days since the last clip you just saw. I finally got my son's results from his 2 biopsies, so I thought I would share that with you. I'm bundled up because we don't have air conditioner heating unit that actually works for a week now, and we're getting a new one put in on Tuesday, but it's 30 degrees outside. Thankfully it's only 66 in the house, but that's way too cold for me. So I've got like this fleece underneath, and then I've got a Barefoot Dreams cardigan on top of that. And my daughter, she says she's hot and she's just running around the living room. So I don't know, I guess I'm getting old. So I got the results back, and it's good news. I thought I would share it with you. I'm so excited. So both of his biopsies came back as nevus, Nevus, which means it's benign, and they're normal. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.